Here again with another Breaking Bad Season 1 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am, you're rewatching or watching Breaking Bad, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers and join me on this journey of watching this amazing show again and discussing it in the comments section. This will be Breaking Bad, Season 1, Episode 6. The title of this episode is called Crazy Handful of Nothin. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing rewatching the episode. Walt sees the mess in the RV left by Jesse and Badger's altercation. Walt tells Jesse he's the silent partner. No more bloodshed, no more violence. More treatment for Walt. Walt lies to Skyler and tells her Elliot already sent the check for his treatment. Walt gets sick during his class. The janitor will clean up the mess as Mr. White has kits to teach. And Walt says, "Thanks, Hugo." Cancer meeting. Skyler complaining. Walt and Jesse are out in the desert on another cook. Walt starts to have issues and needs air. Jesse says, "When were you going to tell me?" Jesse notices the dots on Walt's chest. He knows that he had cancer. Jesse says his aunt had it bad enough when she had it. She didn't last long, 7 months. Walt tells Jesse to finish the batch with his mad skills. Jesse tells Walt to use an ice pack. It will help with the chemotherapy or chemo. And Hank knows the gas mask they found was from Walt's school. Jesse goes out and starts to sell the product. He does a little of it too. That's customary when you sell some. You do it with somebody to make sure it's not laced with anything. Walt's mad about the return that he gets back. You may know a lot about chemistry, but you don't know jack about slinging dope. Walt says they need a distributor. A distributor. Walt asks who took Crazy 8's place. Some guy named Tuco. Tuco is one crazy son of a bitch. Jesse says it's too risky to deal with Tuco. Walt tells Jesse to just grow some fucking balls. Or does he say grow a pair? I put fucking balls, but I think he might have said grow a fucking pair. Regardless, that's what he says. So Walt goes to pay the bill and tells the person to wait till Monday, the bail for his treatment, to wait till Monday to cash things. Walt pukes in the bathroom again at school, and Hugo gives him some gum for his bad breath. Hank visits Walt at the school. Carmen, the vice principal, lets Hank into Walt's classroom, and Hank says Carmen has an ass like an onion. Okay. Hank shows Walt the gas mask and says it came from this chemistry lab. And then Hank notices a bunch of things missing from the lab inventory. Jesse calls Walt why this is happening. And, they talk in code and says Skinny Pete, his buddy, knows Tuco, so they have their way in. Hank tells Walt you gotta keep an eye on things better because someone had a field day in here. Skinny Pete and Jesse go to Tuco's lair, place. I don't know what they want to call it. I think it's his lair, his office. And Tuco makes Jesse take a bump of the meth. And Tuco also takes a bump off his knife. So he made Jesse take a bump off the knife. Usually you put it on a mirror. Well, that's cocaine, but meth, cocaine, same thing. I've never done it. I've just seen people do it. But Tuco, who would snort stuff off of, or, take a bump off of a knife? Okay, that's Tuco for you. Tuco Salamanca, by the way. Tuco says Jesse will get the money and wants the product up front. So Jesse's like, no, that's not how it works, man. So Tuco fills up a bag or sack with money, and then he just proceeds to beat Jesse up with this sack of money. He's pissed Jesse questioned him with fronting the meth. Hank arrests Hugo, the janitor at the school, as he's got a record. And Walter Jr. asks Hank during poker, well, I guess I just answered that question. Why did you arrest Hugo? Well, he said Mr. Archuleta. He had a joint, and Hank's sure that he's the one taking supplies from the chemistry lab. And Walt goes all in on a hand. And we find out because Marie flips the cards over, which you're not supposed to do back in my poker days. I played a lot of Texas Hold'em from like 2003 to 2011 is when I slowed down a bit. But he was bluffing with, I believe it was 7 deuce suited, and Hank had a trip aces, and Hank threw away that. He had trip aces with a king kicker, and he threw it all away because he thought Walt had the flush. Walt calls Jesse, and Skinny Pete tells him Jesse's in the hospital, and Walt goes to see him. Walt tells Skinny Pete to tell him everything about this Tuco character. Tell me everything about him. Walt has now shaved his head. Skylar is a bit surprised, and I feel like she's also a little shocked because he looks pretty badass. And then Walt, all by himself, goes to Tuco's lair, palace, place, house, whatever it is, office building, and with some, what we think is product. I want to talk to Tuco, and I'm not leaving till I do. Walt tells Tuco his name is Heisenberg. And Tuco may, Heisenberg? Idiot. And Walt tells Tuco he wants $50,000. $35,000 for the product and $15,000 for his partner suffering. Walt tells Tuco this is not meth and throws one of the pieces of crystal on the ground. It explodes. Are you fucking nuts? Tuco Salamanca says. You've got balls. I'll give you your money. Tuco wants more of the meth because that shit was selling. Walt says you'll have to buy 2 pounds instead of 1. Tuco asks, what was that shit? And he says it's a fulminate of mercury. Walt leaves Tuco's office, looks at the money he got, and shows what I think was some anger and excitement because he didn't smile. I'm not really sure what to make of that. And I've seen this episode probably 8 times, I think. And then Walt drives off to end the episode. So, good stuff here. 8.7 out of 10 is what I'm going to score the episode. Walt is going to be the character of the episode. We got to meet Tuco Salamanca in this one. He beat the crap out of Jesse. Female characters of the episode, I mean, Marie and Skylar really didn't do all that much. So if you want to give it to Skylar for the females, fine, I guess. So that's what I have to say about this episode. We're winding down the season. Of course, this season really ends with season 2, episode 2, in my opinion. But it is what it is. They didn't know if the show would continue. And fun fact, the ratings for Breaking Bad were not good. The ratings for Breaking Bad didn't do good until they got released on Netflix. And that's when the show, I think season 3 got put on Netflix. And then people started watching it. But you've heard what I have to say. Now, of course, it's your turn. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad and want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, I'm a fanatic. I guess you could say it's my 3rd favorite show of all time. Make sure you Hulk smash that like button. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are. What would you rate the episode? Or if you want to talk about the season in general. I assume everybody that's watching this video has probably already watched the show before. So if you want to just discuss the season, if you remember more aspects of season 1 of Breaking Bad, that's fine. If you remember the episode, you can score it and let me know who you think the male. And if you want to include a female character of the episode in this one, fine by me. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel. You're watching the video anyway. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.